Last year, such an animation would take me half a day at least, and last week, it took me a few minutes. What used to be hours of sitting and clicking in After Effects, now it's a simple prompt and a click of a button. And whether you like it or not doesn't matter, because I'm pretty sure editors who lose aren't the ones that use AI, but the ones who refused. And this video is about how to become one who wrote it. And by the way, there will be exceptions. There will be people who have so much knowledge and such good judgment that they will not use any reinforcement on their skills. So there will be valued anyway. And they probably already have like a, established network of people, of connections. So for those people, maybe this doesn't apply. And maybe there will be clients that will refuse to use AI as well. But let me tell you, there will be very few of those. Okay, so you will have to be very lucky. For example, corporate clients that I work with, oh my goodness, they are all hands-on with AI. And trust me, they're not an exception. And really, the gap between the ones who adopt AI versus the ones who don't widens with time. And clients notice that, because at the end of the day, it's about the output. Like, do you get what you pay for from the editor? And if there is someone else who would do it twice as fast, 5 times as fast, why wouldn't they want to work with them instead? But at the same time, yes, there is a lot of marketing hype around those tools. Some of them claim that you will get the edit right away, like in a few seconds, in a few clicks. And it's not true for most of the professional applications. Because yes, they might work out of the box for very simple edits, for very simple tasks. And the ones that maybe client doesn't really care about precision that much. But from experience, I can tell you that most of the time they do. And they're not really happy with like 80% there. So the job of taking it from 80% to 99 or 100, it's still your job to make this happen. And this will not change anytime soon, because editing is one of the most complex jobs. Technically, it can be automated by AI. It can read the transcript, it can put things together. There are so many nuances to what we do that editors will not be really removed from the process. I'm pretty sure of that. But a lot of the things we do will be automated and will be sped up by the rise of AI tools and implementations of AI in the existing ones. Actually, this reminds me, yesterday I saw an ad from Soundly. Soundly is a sound effects platform that I use for I use them since I remember, basically. And they released AI functionality to Soundly, which basically allows you to search sound effects using natural commands, like, natural language commands instead of tags, which was the way you would communicate with the software since ever.
So, how was your weekend?
Forest, ambiance.
Right. It's like people are talking in sound effect tags.
And really, to me, it's a great addition. It will help me to speed up my workflow without a doubt. Because I'm pretty fluent in English, I think you can tell, but I'm not a native, as you can probably tell as well. And sometimes I have a problem with naming a tag, naming what would be the name of this sound that I'm thinking of, right? So instead, right now, I can just describe how it feels, what object might give that sound or something like that, right? And I will get the effect, I will find the right sound effects much faster.
Natural language search?
So, great addition. And by the way, not sponsored by Soundly, but I just love what they do. But you could say, okay, but if we have those tools that pretty much do things for us, like Claude Design, right now, it can generate this animation, right? So does it actually mean that we won't be valued anymore? No, because the value in what we do is not really in clicking. It has never been. Yes, it's been necessary for what we do, the technical knowledge of the software, but I hope that the value I was bringing to the table throughout the years was not really in clicking in After Effects, Premiere Pro, or any other software I use. I hope that it was my taste, my sense of story and what drives it, of the progression of the story. What's the right moment to transition to something else? What's the music we should use and how it should feel? What's the underlying message that something carries? Client trust, my ability to decide that something is not necessary and we can accomplish the same effect with something else that can be done faster. My ability to control how I work and how productive I am in the edit bay. I hope those are the things I got hired for, and I hope it's true for you as well. Because if it is, I strongly believe that AI is only leverage for you. You simply have an edge over beginners. So what tools do I use? Well, I've mentioned Soundly. The other one is my custom plugin that I created with my friend, AI Editor. But the thing is, it doesn't do any editing for you. It just helps you with finding good selects. Because as editors, we know that most of the work, of the prep work, really happens in the selection phase. So, for example, I have this podcast that I recorded with Walter Merge, right? This conversation. And let's say I want to make like a trailer for it. So in the style of like a diary of CEO, right? So in AI Editor, I can just choose the mode and I will use custom prompt in this case. And I will delete this one and I will just say, find 5 or so candidates for a good cliffhanger for the trailer in the style of the diary of a CEO. And now I click on edit. And I wait a little bit. It uses the model that I chose in the settings of the plugin. And in a moment, I will get selections. And it raises the clips, just as you've seen in the animation at the beginning of the video, with the confidence level. So basically, the higher the clip lands on the video track stack, the higher confidence of the AI that this will be a very good moment for that cliffhanger. I love this approach because it helps me to find what I need quickly, but it doesn't do editing for me. It doesn't do my job, okay? The other one that I used for quite some time right now is Lalal AI. This tool allows me to separate like noise from the voice. And I had a client video filmed by the seashore and the wind was just unbearable. I couldn't hear what they say, And I used Lalal AI and I couldn't believe that it separated those two, like noise and voice, because they felt so much merged together. So I was like shocked. It made it usable. Before that, it was pretty much like, unusable footage. So it saved the day. And the one that I feel most uneasy to use is generative AI. So like basically creating videos out of the prompt. This is something I usually avoid, but sometimes it saves the day or allows you to illustrate something where you could use a picture, but right now you can use that picture that you have and, put it in action. So for example, I had a picture of a person that was describing a story that happened to them. They were driving during the night. So I feeded a reference image of that person to AI and asked it to generate this shot where he's driving, that person is driving. And it looked as if it was shot. Like, if you would pause and like check a few things here and there, you would notice the difference and you would see that actually that's not a real video, but it looked quite good. And it was like a few months ago. So right now with the models that we have, I bet that it would look much, much better. It's much, much more believable. Would I prefer if they shot it instead? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. But at the same time, sometimes you don't have the option to go back to shoot something, or you don't have money for it. So should the video suffer because of that? Not really. That's not an excuse to not use AI in this case. And I still believe you can do it in the way that, doesn't make the video AI first. AI is just a layer you put on top to take the storytelling to that next level that we're after all the time. And this brings us to the most important question: how do we prepare for all that? First of all, remember about that gap that widens between those who adapt and those who don't. And don't wait around. Try something like AI Editor. It's a one-time payment and then you pay for what you use. So it's not like other AI tools where you pay monthly subscription. In this case, you only pay for the usage. We made it this way because we believe it's the most fair solution. Sign up for File AI or Key.ai, which are tools that basically allow you to access multiple models and then again, pay only for what you do or only for what you generate. Maybe in the video you're editing right now, there is an option to take a still image you have and turn it into a video that actually shows what they're talking about. It doesn't have to be something big, but to get yourself familiar with those tools. And also, there are still things you can focus on that are timeless. For example, you can collect testimonials from your clients, because if you're looking for new clients, they will be more than useful in the future. So use a tool like carmi.pro and send them the link to leave you a video testimonial you can put on your website, or you can merge into a promo video or something like that. And if you want to go deeper into how to utilize it in your specific workflow, just reach out to me and let's have a conversation about it. Maybe I will be able to help. Take care. Till the next time.